Hello, this is my video for module or my discussion 9 post. I found this discussion a little difficult and confusing, so if I made any mistakes anywhere, please let me know because I probably do have some. But we'll start out with number 1. So when we were comparing Iowa and Minnesota, I think that was 2 discussion posts ago, we found that they both had an average birth weight around 7.5 pounds. So, because of this, we can consider that the null hypothesis is true when comparing Iowa and Minnesota. And then when we compared Louisiana and Iowa, it was about a third of a pound lower than the average birth weight in Iowa. So, for this reason, Iowa and Louisiana, um, we can consider that null hypothesis as truly false. So, based on the answer for number 1, so if the null hypothesis really is true, the type of error to worry about is type 1. So that would go with Minnesota and Iowa. And then if the null hypothesis is really false, the type of error to worry about is a type 2 error. So that would go with Iowa and Louisiana. And then we'll go down here. So this is kind of the part that I found confusing and I may have mistakes on. So for the estimation of probability, I went to the Excel spreadsheet and I saw that, one second, sorry, let me pull it up. So for the first p-value, it was 0.5039. So that kind of gave us our p-value for this, for n equals 25. So our truth is n equals 25 on the top, and then our decision is on the left. And then I decided that it was a correct decision because the hypothesis was true, and I decided to retain the null hypothesis. So I got 50.39%. And then for the population of 100, I found that it was a type 1 error because it was 0.2147, but I put it into a percentage. And then for n equals 500, I also got a type 1 error because the p-value for the first row was 0.4564. And then again, I just put that into a percentage. So for the type 1 errors, although the truth was that the null hypothesis was true, I decided to reject both of these. And then for this one, I decided to retain it. And then we'll go down here. So if the null hypothesis is false, we'll use these 3. So we'll use power and type 2 error to figure out if we'll retain or reject our hypothesis. So for n equals 25, I saw that the p-value was 0.6208, and so I chose to do power, which is the probability of correctly rejecting a false null hypothesis. So again, I said, so since this hypothesis was false, I chose to reject it, so that's why it would be power. And then for n equals 100, I also got power for this one, so again, I decided to reject the null hypothesis and because it was already false. And then for this one, I found that it was a type 2 error. So I found that to retain the null hypothesis, even though the truth said it was false. And then I'll go over to my data on Excel that I found. So for this, I typed in, so these are actually percentages, but the probability wasn't in percentages, so I just did whole numbers instead. So I basically took all the information from the boxes in my other Word document and put it over here. So 51%, like I said was before, was correctly identified or correctly retained. So then I did 1 minus 51 to get 49. I have no clue if I did that right. So let me know if you did it any differently. And then, so I just started filling it in these. And then for the second one, I got 21, and it was a type 1 error. And then the third one, I got 46, and that was also a type 1 error, I think. Let me go back and make sure I'm not making any mistakes. Yeah, so the last two were both type 1 errors. And again, I just took 100 minus 21 and got 79, and then 100 minus 46 and got 54. I don't know if I did that right again. And then they graphed automatically. So this is kind of what it looks like. And then, I don't know, the second one looks more accurate, but I'm not sure what they're really supposed to look like. And then I did the same thing down here for the null hypothesis when it was really false. So when Iowa was compared to Louisiana. And then, yeah, I think I covered anything. Let me know if you saw anything wrong with any of the information I gave you or anything that I said. But thank you for listening.